check this out. I'll see your all-time high, and I'll raise you this.
Oh yeah, go for it, Max. Go for it.
This fund group in Dubai has just committed to buy 4.8 billion in Bitcoin, and their goal is to own 25% of all Bitcoin. All right, think about that. Dubai, of course, this is the richest country in the world, part of the richest region in the world, and they know inflation when they see it because they're in the oil industry. Oil's making new highs. And they're like, you know what? These guys in America, we can't let them get richer than us. And the way they're doing it is they're buying Bitcoin. So therefore, per the game theory baked into the Bitcoin protocol, that was the Genesis block of January 3, 2009, they are forced to buy Bitcoin. It's called game theory. Or if you want to get into gender politics, it's called weenie waving. Okay? Weenie waving is when men feel insecure because another man bought more Bitcoin. So they have to whip out their weenie.
Self-destruct sequence activated. 3, 2, 1.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Just ask him about the car, man.
Is this yours, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Is that your car out front?
Is this your homework, Larry?
We know it's his fucking homework. Where's the fucking money, you little brat?
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Johnny here, and in today's video, we are going to talk about this Bitcoin correction and why I believe there's still more downside left, even though there has been some incredible bullish news over the past few days. We've got Michael Saylor again buying more Bitcoin. He just dropped another 1.026 billion on Bitcoin, and he paid $52,765 per Bitcoin. Now, this should tell you guys something. Michael Saylor's a very intelligent guy. He would not just be recklessly throwing his company's money at Bitcoin. He definitely knows something. He definitely is aware that the Bitcoin price is going to continue pushing further and further to the upside, and you know, it's going to happen. I mean, the Bitcoin price is going to continue pushing further. We are in the midst of a bit of a correction. I think it's pushing further to the downside, but this is a very, very healthy correction. I would like to see the price come down a bit more, and we'll talk about that here very shortly. We've got Square, Jack Dorsey also buying more Bitcoin, not quite as much, 170 million, but it's nothing to laugh at. It's still more Bitcoin than I'm buying at the moment. So this is incredible. You know, Jack Dorsey, there are going to be a ton of institutional investors coming into this game, not to mention the rumor of a US ETF is getting closer and closer and closer to becoming a reality. But unfortunately, I think when that does happen, we may see it come around near a cycle top. It's the same way we saw the CME Bitcoin futures start right when Bitcoin hit 20K, and then the CME futures sent Bitcoin's price tanking all the way down to around $3,000. So I have a feeling we're going to see something similar this time around with an ETF. So I don't know if you've noticed it, but the price action has been a bit spotty of late, and you might have noticed that it might have been a little weird, random volume, rising prices. I think that it has a lot to do with the dwindling supply on exchanges being bought up by the likes of MicroStrategy and Square, because the over-the-counter supply is getting less and less and more competitive every single day. So I think what we're seeing here, even though we're not seeing quite a lot of exchange volume, traditional exchanges, traditional crypto exchanges, excuse me, we are seeing the price rise fairly slowly but fairly quickly at the same time. But I have a feeling that it's really just due to the Bitcoin coming off the exchange, a decrease in supply, and yet another rise in demand. The perfect makings for an incredible bull run. All right, so before we get going into the bearish idea here for Bitcoin, which really isn't a bearish idea, it's just another re-entry idea, so it is an opportunity. I want to go over this chart. So this chart I put together, I've done this a few different times, a few different ways, and last night this one really just made a lot of sense. So this is the Bitcoin I think this is the 1 month chart. So what I did was I plotted this legacy trend line, which shows incredible significance with the Bitcoin price. And then this is the Bitstamp chart, and it only goes back to 2011, late 2011. So I had to do my best to try and estimate when the 9th of January 2009 would be on this chart. So from there, I plotted out the halving dates, which happened to line up perfectly with the Fib time tool. And I also use the Fib resistance arcs, which happen to perfectly line up with these cycle tops. Now, another interesting thing here that really kind of set this in stone for me was the fact that this Fib retracement tool lines up perfectly with every single cycle all-time high. So going back to $32 pre-2012 all the way up to the $1,166 high in 2014 to the 19,900 high we saw in 2017, and then the next one up that we are headed for right now, or should be headed for, is the 618 retracement all the way up at $358,000. Now, this chart says that we could be approaching that all-time high somewhere between June and December of 2022. So June of 2021, meaning this summer. We could be getting ready for the most incredible moon mission all the way up over $350,000. And really, I mean, with all of the bullish news, with the institutional FOMO coming in, I really see this as being a very, very strong possibility. All right, so when should you buy? Should you buy at 52K like Michael Saylor did? Fortunately, I think you might not have to. So let's go ahead and take a look at some ideas right now. So here's what we're looking at. So when this corrective move happened here back in mid to late January, I thought this was the beginning of an ABC correction. So right now we're looking at an extended B wave correction, which was extremely overbought, low exchange volume. The price just kept creeping further and further to the upside. I really couldn't figure out what was going on. But if you remember the last video, I did talk about the B wave correction and how it really is an overbought speculator's paradise, sending the price falsely to the upside, and is typically followed by a retracement of wave A. So this is what I'm looking at, the potential for a contracting triangle. This again, you know, a breakout here would send us up towards that $368,000 cycle target that I am looking at, and it would do that fairly quickly. You can see here that the last trade settlement date for each month does happen to line up with a bottom. Now, historically in the Bitcoin price, since the CME became a thing, we have seen the Bitcoin price fall right around the same time as the last trade date for the CME. So historically, it is a bearish indicator letting us know that price action is likely headed to the downside, but it is not always the case 100% of the time. All right, so these are the types of other corrective waves that we're looking at. So we're either looking at a running flat, which gives us an AB that is above the previous high, or we are looking at an expanded flat, which would take the BC all the way down below A, which would be pretty scary, and it would take us down pretty far. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would mean. So if we're looking at a regular flat, a running flat, that means we're coming down likely to the 618 retracement of AB. Okay, so the 618 retracement here brings us all the way down to $37,898, which does have some confluence behind it here. So if we take a anchored view app and we go from the beginning of the breakout of this entire parabolic move, that does line up with the 786 extension of AB. Now, that would be a great place to go ahead and set a buy order. I have buy orders right now, so I have buy orders right at this 618 retracement, hopefully catching the bottom of this corrective move before pushing further to the upside. But I will be monitoring price action very, very closely when it starts to near this price, just in case price is going to push further to the downside. I do not want to get stopped out. So the idea here is to use very low leverage, because there is a possibility that the Bitcoin price comes all the way down to the 1272 in the event we're looking at an extended flat correction, bringing us all the way down under $24,000. Now, I do not think that a move that far down is likely, mostly because the 21 weekly EMA is all the way up here at $27,388. And in a bull market, we typically do not go below the 21 weekly period EMA. So it's been a fairly strong point of support for Bitcoin in every bull market thus far. So I'm counting on it to hold true again in this bull market, especially considering the amount of demand we have now compared to the ones in the past. So the confluence lines up here. Again, if we go ahead and look at the regular running flat, that gives us a C all the way down to the 618 retracement of, again, AB. The expanded flat gives us that 1272 move all the way down, which would give us that incredibly low target of $23,800 in that range. So my plan here is, again, to wait. So we're looking for one of three things. Again, we're looking for the contracting triangle possibility. We're looking for the running flat and the expanded flat possibility. So that gives us three entry targets, of which we will draw areas of value from and layer in buy orders depending on our confirmations as price comes down. So what are we looking for? So our first buy order here at the 618, we should get a bounce. It does happen to also line up with the lower trend line support of this move to the upside here. So this would be a fairly nice bounce. But one thing we will be looking for, if we do break this support line and bounce off of this 618, if we get rejected here near the 0.5 fib level, which also lines up with this lower trendline support, that will be a bearish confirmation retest, letting us know that we are likely headed down to either the 786, which lines up with this anchored view app, the 1, which does line up right now with the 21 weekly period EMA, or in the case of the expanded flat, we're looking at the 1272 retracement all the way down to $24,000. So I have my buy orders layered in here at the 618 at 37.726K, and then another set of buy orders layered in here at 33,676, and then, you know, I will monitor price action. If price action continues to push further to the downside, because we should get some bounces here along the way to let us know, then I will abort mission, move my stop loss into profit on a bounce, and then layer my buy orders down here at the 1272. But if we break this 21 weekly EMA, that's bad news for the Bitcoin price. That could be signaling we are entering into a short-term bear market. But at this point, especially with Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin at the price he bought Bitcoin, I really do not see it coming down this far. And if it does, I don't see it staying there for any significant amount of time. All right, quick recap here. So what we're looking for is a move down to the 618 right here at $37,726. We will be layering in buy orders in that area, managing price action. All right, so just to recap here, we will be layering in buy orders right here at this 618 retracement level at $37,482. We will be scaling in our buy orders here. That way we are sure that we get the best price possible on this move down. Now, our next area of entry will be right here at the 786 and the 886 retracement level in between 30,900 and $33,342. If price action continues to push further to the downside, we are looking to pick up buy orders right here at the 1272 extension. If Bitcoin does push down that far, we could be in trouble and we could be looking at a short-term bear market, but I do not think that's likely. Not really counting on the price to fall below the 21 weekly EMA. So we are looking for buy orders possibly here at the 886 and 786, but most likely right here at the 618 retracement at $37,600. All right, so a few things to keep your eyes on to kind of give you some insight or add some confluence to the trading idea. First, we'll take a look here at the Bitcoin dominance chart. So Bitcoin dominance is in this sort of ascending triangle. It does appear to be in a sort of head and shoulders pattern, which if Bitcoin dominance does break this to the downside, we're looking at a 39% dominance rate, something Bitcoin has not seen since February of 2018. Following the mega bull run we saw in 2017. So hopefully we're not about to have a repeat of history where Bitcoin crashes down and at the same time we see the Bitcoin dominance crash with it. So, you know, we'll see really what this does over the next couple of days. Again, this is the weekly chart. We are seeming like we are getting a bounce off this lower support. So maybe Bitcoin dominance might be headed further to the upside. If it does, it won't be good for altcoins. But if it continues to move sideways like it is, that will indeed be pretty damn good for altcoins. One thing that will definitely have a significant impact on the Bitcoin price is the performance out of the DXY. So the DXY did break out of this giant falling wedge, but it is kind of hugging the upper trend line of this falling wedge pattern. And in doing so, it does appear to have put in a bearish head and shoulders pattern, which is a reversal or a continuation pattern to the downside. Now, if the DXY does break this head and shoulders pattern to the downside, it will fall back into this falling wedge pattern, but it will also put it down below 90% on the index, about a 1.5% move. But if you remember from previous videos, the DXY correlation study that we did, for every 1% move to the downside, we get about a 10 to 15% move to the upside out of Bitcoin. And conversely, for every 1% move to the upside out of the DXY, we see anywhere from a 15 to a 20% correction out of Bitcoin and GBTC as well. So one thing I definitely wanted to mention in today's video was Bitcoin's correlation to the S&P 500. If you're not sure how to find this, you just go ahead and type in SPX up here in the top left corner, and that will bring you the S&P 500 index. Now, Bitcoin has been fairly closely correlated to the S&P 500. There were some brief periods in time back in March and April following the large crash that we saw where Bitcoin was following the S&P 500 in terms of percentage price movement to the T. And it was very profitable to trade because the S&P was serving in effect as a leading indicator for the Bitcoin price. But there were some interesting points here in price action correlation where Bitcoin did the exact opposite of the S&P 500. You can see that here with this dip where the S&P 500 took a move to the downside and Bitcoin took a move to the upside. And you can see the same thing starting to happen here as the S&P 500 came down to retest this lower trend line. Bitcoin continued to push further and further to the upside. So that correlation is piquing my interest again. It did catch my eye this morning. Something to definitely look at. It was an early warning sign last year at this time for the market crash. So targets out of here. Again, you know, we're looking for the 5-wave move before we push further to the upside. And, you know, something could catalyze this move at any moment. So this corrective move does not technically have to finish all 5 waves before continuing to the upside. We could get some bullish news that could send the price again pushing further and further to the upside. But what are we looking for? Again, you know, we're looking for volume, we're looking for news, we're looking for bullish divergences, and we're looking for the bears to start to run out of steam. One thing I want to share with you guys before I let you go, if you're new to this market, you want to learn how to trade, you want to learn how to read charts, you want to learn the terminology, you want to learn the lingo, you want to know how to make a trading plan, how to calculate position size, risk reward ratio, everything you need to be able to make profitable trades in this market, I have built the most comprehensive training course there is out there. Go ahead and visit our website, 3candlecollective.com. Go ahead and check out the intro course information. If you're interested in taking the course, go ahead and fill out the questionnaire on the website. Over the next 5 weeks, I will be giving out 2 free passes each week for the technical analysis basic training course. All you have to do is go to the website, fill out the request information form, and leave a comment down below. And every Monday for the next 5 weeks, I will pick a random commenter to win access to the training course. And in access to the training course, you get access to all of the resources that are available on the website. Again, that's 3candlecollective.com. Leave a comment, fill out the questionnaire and the request information form for a chance to win free access to the technical analysis basic training course. One thing we didn't go over today was the fact that we are about to experience one hell of an altcoin season if this correction does take some time to move down. So tomorrow's video will be all about altcoins, how I plan to profit from this altcoin season that we are experiencing right now, where I plan to take profit, and when I plan to move everything back into Bitcoin. So the next video will be really comprehensive. I think you guys will get a lot out of it, but please leave a comment, please leave a like, please subscribe. Don't forget to ding that bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.